going to be Sunshine versus Energy Dime coming back for a rematch, as it was in fact Dime that put Sunshine in the lower bracket. So can he get his revenge? We'll see. In fact, in 8 seconds as the game is about to get going.
So what are your predictions, Cynics? How do you think it's going to go?
Um, I really feel like Dime, he's kind of the obvious favorite, but Sunshine has been adapting very well to what his opponents have been doing, and he's gotten a lot of experience against Protosses just because of like who he's been facing throughout this tournament. And so I think we might be seeing some very prepared builds from Sunshine as he kind of thinks about it and says, what are Protosses weak against, and what might Dime be weak against? And in fact, we see if Dime can handle that as he's spawning in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom
And
as the green Protoss.
yes, and we just see Sunshine spawning here at the bottom left as the yellow Zerg. Once again, it's going to be yellow versus green on Cloud Kingdom, which has been a pretty common map throughout this tournament today. We've seen quite a few PVZs on this map, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So just a bit with the tournament format, the way that we're doing it is that we're not having an extended series, as I said earlier, just because the extended series can lead to some kind of weird situations where if it goes from like a best of 3 to a best of 5 and somebody got 2-0'd, then they only need to win one more game in order to make it a 3-0 and win that next series too, which is a bit unfair. And so the way that we're doing this one is that the winner of the previous set starts up one game over their opponent. So right now, Dime is currently up 1-0 against Sunshine in this best of 5. And ultimately, this is the end of the tournament for the Northwest. Depending on who wins here, the seeding will be determined, but both of these guys will be in the SPGL National Tournament.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see how it goes. I am personally rooting for Energy Dime, but I mean, like you said, that's kind of the obvious favorite here. But we'll see. Sunshine is definitely not someone to be counted out. He is definitely a good Zerg player and has just shown some really strong games the past few matches that we've casted. Of course, the Energy Dime, we haven't really seen him for a few games, so I've been wondering what he's been up to. Has he been scouting out his opponents? Has he been practicing on the ladder? We'll just kind of have to see how he plays.
Yeah, and the game's starting with kind of the very distinct pattern that we are used to. With Nexus first going down from Diamond, he feels very comfortable about just because of the scouting probe that he has had alive for so long, using that to be as annoying as possible and try to block off that hatchery as he in fact moves it. And I like this directly to the third because he knows that's exactly what his opponent's going to do. If the natural is blocked, just take the third. So try to make that a little bit hard too.
Indeed, indeed. So Energy Dime is moving over here, like you're saying, being a big turd, getting in the way of everything. But the third base does manage to go down. Now, Energy Dime is the one that has been doing the really heavy aggression early in the game with a couple of Zealots and then Stalkers to follow up, and it's been able to kill a lot of drones. Drones, I think he'll like that the hatchery is over here in this kind of more vulnerable position, farther away from the rest of your base. We'll see if he does go for that aggression like he did in the earlier games, or if he'll just decide to basically macro up a little bit or go for something completely different.
That is a really good point, though, and I definitely agree with you that it's quite likely he'll. Honestly, this base being in this position might have been what he was going for all along. He's consistently shown that that aggression is very effective in his hands, and he loves to make sure that his opponent is freaking out, desperately trying to make units instead of the drones that he wants to be. And that even like, what was his high score in the previous one? I think it was like 2 overlords, a queen, and 3 drones,
Yeah,
something along those lines. And like I don't know how many zerglings as well. It was a lot of damage and easily paid for itself.
yeah, it was definitely good. We do see two assimilators though for our Protoss player, so he's gonna go ahead and tech up just a little bit, getting that cybernetic score down. Not even making a zealot right now. Instead, just chrono boosting probes out, and might be saving up for a timing attack off these two bases. I'm not sure what he's going for. He's getting the warp gate. He's getting a stalker, so he's not going for what we were talking about with the zealots early on. But what do you think You think it's going to be like a big stalker push? Maybe he'll go for blink or what?
Well, he's done the exact same thing, just with stalker production
Right.
instead of having that first zealot, and that lets him get a couple of things up a little bit faster. The cybernetics core doesn't have any clipping, and he doesn't ever have to cut probes or anything like that in order to try to get out the zealot. And so at this point, he's basically saying, I'd rather have 2 probes than the single zealot, because I think I'll get more utility out of that bit of extra economy, which does probably mean he'll be going for some kind of tech play, at least to about blink level or with the robotics facility.
Yep, so we do see Dime coming up here with the one stalker. Going to try to target down some zealots, or zerglings rather, if he can. And the queen is just kind of chilling at the main base. And with good micro, Dime should be able to handle these zerglings, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. The second stalker is coming around, though, to back him up, so he probably should commit to the attack. Decides instead to go for the overlords, which is an excellent decision. He needs to be careful about getting caught out of position with the zerglings. I don't think that's going to happen, as they just now show up. They don't have speed or anything, so Dime is just going to have a heyday with these zerglings, and already one overlord going down. Going to be a little bit unfortunate for our zerg player.
Yeah, I love the fearlessness with which Dime moves out onto the map. He knows that there's going to be things for him to kill and that it costs him really nothing to do it. He lost nothing but shields that entire time. It also gave him a great opportunity to get up his robotics facility, and it's completely in the dark, I believe. Is checking the vision of Sunshine. Yes, he has no idea that that's the tech path that Sunshine's currently going for. He has an Immortal which is being produced but is unfortunately supply blocked. That does definitely read to me like a 2-base timing though.
Yeah, that's definitely. I completely, wholeheartedly agree with you. We'll see if he drops down some more gateways or if he just kind of sticks with the 4 gateways that he does have, as well as some robotics facility support. He is getting the 1 attack upgrade, so that's going to be super, super nice for him, especially if he drops in some zealots there, which he does have 2 over here hiding out behind the 3rd base. And Dime is getting prepared for this attack that's coming up.
There are a lot of Zerglings ready to receive this. The +1 attack is just about to finish. Very good timing on that. In fact, might end up killing off that queen, which is just such a nice little pickup, damaging your opponent's production directly. Every inject cycle you don't get means fewer and fewer units on the field. Really, though, this is actually an incredibly good position for Dime. He can consistently fight only where he wants to and never really get fully surrounded. And you can see that he's now had to pull his drones off the line with just such a small force.
Yeah, these drones are losing mining time right there, and do try to go back to mining. I'm not sure Dime was in the exactly best position. If he was behind the mineral lines, probably would have been a lot more effective. But that's okay. Let's look at the units lost. Our Zerg players lost about 1,100 versus the 850 of Dime, so Dime doing pretty good with his aggression. He is moving in some more zealots here, and there are Zerglings out here trying to get a good position on the Protoss player. And ooh, wow, these zealots are really gutsy, running away. They could easily get caught off guard by the swarm of Zerglings that are coming up here, and it does look like they will get us around on these zealots. And whoa, never mind. Does he want to engage or not? He needs to make up his mind. They are going to go ahead and engage, not without losing a pretty good number of Zerglings, but pretty good for a Zerg player to go ahead and take off those 4 zealots. That's 400 minerals right there.
Yeah, though unfortunately he still hasn't found that proxy pylon, which I would like to see him grab all of those Zerglings to start checking around for. And it looks like, well, he is at least checking for the 4th base, which is definitely an important point to know, as he will go and find that it's not just under construction, it's up. Though, does learn a little bit of important information right there. There's a small hole currently available in that little gap right there. Now, the Spire did just finish, though. Actually, no, it's just about to finish, I should say. There's about 5 seconds left on that. It's enough for 6 Mutalisks or 5 Mutalisks and the +1 attack upgrade. And there's just not that much to fight them, considering that there's a Stalker and 3 Sentries currently on the field. Blink is on the way, which is always good. +2 attack, very, very good against Mutalisks. But this might be an incredibly effective transition that Sunshine's doing, really with Dime having no idea it's coming.
Yeah, what's kind of crazy too is another robotics facility is being produced, so that'll be 2 robo facilities for a Protoss player. So he'll be committing to Colossi really heavily here. Of course, Mutalisks are out on the field, and as we all know, Colossi cannot attack up into the air, so those Mutalisks are going to be really good in handling those. And man, just look at the supply difference here. Our Zerg player is already up to 119, 120 versus 96 for Dime. And the Zerg's 4th base is getting finished up here, so he's going to be in a really nice position. Of course, I do like how quickly Protoss went ahead and took that 3rd. Left himself a little bit vulnerable. He's definitely vulnerable right now. Doesn't really have much anti-air units. But you know, right now Zerg's not attacking him, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's a lumberjack, and it's okay.
Indeed.
It sleeps all night, and it sets up third bases all day. As really, like, the longer that this goes on, the further and further Dime is going to be able to recover, basically, because he's going for that double Colossus production, though, and it's just like so consistently making things that he doesn't want
Yeah.
or need. Basically, there's still only one stock on the field.
Ooh. Yep.
Man, wow.
There you go. He really just got caught off guard and I mean, didn't think about it. He didn't think it through. He had two robos out. Why didn't he at least have an observer to see that there was a
Yeah.
spire?
I think he tried to meta his opponent
Yeah.
incredibly hard. He thought that there was going to be infestors and zerglings and roaches. That's what he was going to have to face. And if they run into double-produced Colossus or Colossus produced off of two robotics facilities, that army is destroyed.
Yeah.
It's not even funny how fast that army gets melted. But the second that a small group of Mutalisks is in the air, as we see right there, it forces a GG.
Indeed. So Dime is going to choose the next map for the next game, and we'll see what kind of play he goes for. I feel like if he had just stuck with kind of the style he was going for earlier in the tournament, it would have been more effective. But
Well,
yeah.
he does get the map of his choice, and it's going to be ESV Ohana. And one really good thing, I have to imagine that this has been incredible for Sunshine's mental state. It's shown it can be done because he was already starting a game down in the best of 5, and he'd lost the best of 3 against Dime not an hour ago. And he now knows, like, I can win. I can come back and make this happen. I just have to find the right way to do it. So let's see what he brings out for us in game number 2.
Yes, indeed. So we do have Sunshine versus Energy Dime. Both of these players are considered to have a game. Of course, Sunshine is the only one who's actually gotten a victory in this series. Of course, Energy Dime, because he is coming from the winner's bracket, is up 1 game against his opponent. And we'll see if he can manage to get back into it. He is down. He did lose the last one. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Ohana, once again, very popular map that we've seen quite a bit of today. Forge Fast Expanded, practically guaranteed on this map. And I'm really tempted to start laying bets. It's just kind of like, I'll bet you $100 that we're going to see Spawning Pool expand.
Yeah.
But it's very effective strategies, and both these players feel quite comfortable with it. And I do honestly like that neither one of them has felt the pressure and said, you know what, I'm going to 7 pool and try to get myself a really cheap and cheeky win because I don't feel comfortable trying to take this guy on in a heads-up game. And they've both shown that they're quite confident actually with that. If they lose, it's because they made a small mistake, and they'll fix it and win next time.
Indeed, so we do see Speedy Gonzalez, the probe, coming down into the bottom right where the Zerg is. Just trying to check out what's going on, see that there is not a spawning pool yet, or anything. Perhaps Sunshine, do you think he will skip the spawning pool and go straight for an expansion? I don't know.
It'd be very bold for him to. Yeah, and in fact, there we go. I'm already well on my way to $100
From no one, indeed. We'll see if Energy Dime goes ahead and drops down a pylon. I'm sure he will to block that expansion from coming out too quickly. At the same time, he does have his pylon up here at the ramp, so he'll be waiting to get a forge and I'm sure a gateway to block off the ramp so he can be extra safe after his expansion. And yeah.
Dime is quite confident about just going for the Nexus first when his opponent goes for the scouted spawning pool first.
Right.
And I feel like once again, I really feel like that can be punished a bit if you decide I'm just committing to running my units directly into your base.
Well,
I can see,
yeah.
I really hope he gets punished. I mean,
he's so gonna get punished. I mean, just look.
This was so arrogant to try to. Right now, the forge is only 15 seconds in. Zerglings are done.
Yeah.
They're on the field. I really, really want to see Sunshine just run them directly over to his opponent's base. Cannons aren't even close, but no, unfortunately, he gets away with it.
Jeez. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Dime blocked off 2 expansions. You want to let your opponent expand if you're gonna be vulnerable in the beginning. But I don't know. He could have got punished, but he didn't. Oh well, that's okay. Dime, you apparently just are psychic or
Yeah,
something.
it's
But
true. He has balls of steel, to quote the king.
just the thing is, I don't understand. Like, why doesn't Dime just go ahead, go two bases, and go for a really aggressive like 7 gate all in? I mean, his opponent has gotten an expansion. He's gotten two expansions really close together early in the game. He's very vulnerable. I mean, if I were the Protoss player, I would be going for just a straight up kill right now. Um,
Well, taking the expand early as a response to the Forge Fast expand is pretty much as standard can be. And so every Zerg worth their salt needs to be comfortable in dealing with the like 7 gate blink
right.
stalker +2 or like the 7 gate with a robo or any kind of those all-ins just because those are so common in ladder. And I kind of have to imagine that that's actually why he's not doing it, is because when
Yeah.
you're laddering, that will be like 70% of the games that you run into. It's just so common and such a great way to get a pretty straightforward win. Now, that doesn't mean he'll never do it. He's just trying not to do it as his go-to strategy because
Right.
assuming that Sunshine does hold it off, he's like Dime's just dead. You can't transition out of it. That's why it's an all-in. So I kind of like that he's been avoiding it. It makes his play a little bit riskier. He has to expand at times where he's maybe not wholly safe, but ultimately I think it is the mark of a better player that he decides not to go for that.
All right. Well, we'll see. We do see Energy Dime coming up here with the Soccer to the third, like he always does, and is going to try to pick off a probe. He does get 2 kills. I think one of those was a circling. And, yeah, I mean, doing a little bits of damage. What?
I'm just remembering. I think it was In Control who was saying like, "Dear every Zerg in the world, can you please go to that ledge in your fourth on Ohana and kill the pylon every single game because it is there." Every single game. It is the only place there is ever a proxy pylon put down, and it's basically true because there it is, as we see right now. Dime planting it in the only spot we ever see a proxy pylon, and he is getting in some good harassment. So I can understand why Sunshine isn't just immediately running up and doing it. But as a general rule of thumb, I just find
Yeah.
it so funny that on this map, that's just where a proxy pylon goes.
It belongs there, I suppose. But we do see 2 queens down here at the third base, so that's going to be a little bit better for handling these stalkers. Some zerglings are coming down as well. The 2 queens are going to allow our zerg player to keep from making quite as many zerglings as he probably regularly would. As you can see, he's droning up to currently 8 drones in addition to what he has now. And man, these 2 stalkers have been pretty good. One has 4 kills, the other has 6 kills. And now the zealots have been warped in to deal with these zerglings, and suddenly Sunshine's in a little bit of trouble in handling this aggression.
Yeah, you were talking about kill moves, and this is one of the most effective ones. It's basically just a delayed 4-gate, but if your opponent's going for super macro mode, that means that they're as vulnerable to it as they would be just because the game is very early and they don't have much stuff. It's just a different reason for not having all that much stuff. That was an incredible
Wow.
piece of micro, too,
Yeah.
from Dime right there, keeping both of those stalkers alive deep into the red, even using them to go back and save the pylon. Now that Roach is going to be able to, in fact, that Roach and all of his buddies are going to be able to go in and start dealing some damage, but I really feel like Dime has already kind of gotten what he wanted out of this attack, and as we see, 4 more gateways going down. Protoss the weapons at level 2,
Wow.
and Blink. So you wanted the 8-gate all-in, and it is on its way.
Yay, I'm so happy. Let's see if it actually works out or not, though. Energy Dime is down to 56 supply versus 77 of Sunshine. Of course, a lot of that is economic. Actually, no, it's not. Never mind. There's 46 harvesters for both of these players, so Dime is actually in a pretty sick position. Let's actually look at the unit stat real quick. We see 9 roaches versus 1 stalker, 4 sentries. So the army of the Protoss isn't quite as big as it needs to be. Of course, it will be here in a few minutes as he's been focusing on building production facilities. And we'll see if he goes ahead and goes for this kill pretty soon. He is moving out with the units that he does have towards the middle of the map. And yeah, he'll probably want to try to drop down another proxy pylon if he can to warp in some units. But while there is no proxy pylon, our Zerg player is going to be a little bit safer. But there's the pylon, and we'll see if our Zerg can hold off this incoming attack.
Yeah, now we just have to see kind of what are the next several warp-in rounds, because the amount of minerals that Energy has is, or Energy Dime, I should say, has is absolutely enormous. He had like 1,000 minerals saved up for a moment there, and now he's just transforming it all into Stalkers as soon as he has the gas to do it. It also gives him a lot of options, though, where he can make a lot of Zealots very,
Yeah.
very quickly if he ever decides he needs to. A couple of force fields that were just a hair late, but I do think that there's just so much stuff here that the Roaches are going to be forced back. Speed only just now being started.
Oh,
An
wow.
incredibly late Roach speed that I think Sunshine is just going to be punished for.
Yeah, so here comes the engagement, guys. Blink Stalkers are super good against Roaches. Of course, these Roaches do get up here to try to give them some big bear hugs. Will there be enough Roaches to deal with the Protoss army? I'm not sure that there will be, even with a single Spine Crawler. That not going to be enough to hold off, but our Protoss player is not taking out the Zerg quite yet. He's doing some really good Blink Micro, though, and while this group of Roaches is, staying alive pretty effectively, but will it be enough to hold off?
I don't know. That next round of Warpins massively reinforced Dime's army, and now as we see the drones being pulled off the line as Sunshine loses game number 2 of this best of 5, but because once again of the kind of like extended series type format that we're doing, that currently puts Dime up 2-1. It's
Yep.
potentially match point.
Indeed, it is match point for Dime. He could easily take home the victory if he just wins the next game. Of course, if he loses the next one, Sunshine will have to win, well, I guess one more after that. So we'll see how it does play out.
All right, so the next map's going to be GSL Daybreak, the official one. You can tell because of the nice little parentheses that inform you of that fact. Sunshine asking if we're ready. Dime saying go, go. So.
He's ready for blood. Alrighty. Now, the question is, will he go for Void Rays or not? Will he go for a proxy Stargate? What do you think?
I don't think this is quite the best map for Proxy Stargate, just because there's not that much dead space, really.
Well, I mean,
around the edges of it.
I mean,
like, there's like that one little patch directly next to your base, but aside from that, there's just not that much available. You can kind of like do that, and then maybe in the far corner if you go all the way through their base. But it's not like you can be constantly dipping in and out and harassing everywhere.
True.
But to introduce these players as though they need an introduction, Sunshine is spawning as the yellow Zerg in the top right-hand corner, currently down a game, and if his opponent wins this one, that will be the end of his tournament life, but he still gets to go to the national final.
Yeah, he still gets to have fun. And at the bottom left,
Actually, wait a minute. Oh. Yep, there it is. Up.
What?
Check it
what?
out.
What?
Check it out.
What am I checking out? Oh god.
Look in Sunshine's base.
Sunshine's base. Oh my god. What? Holy crap! Was that a 6-full Senex? Or was that a 7? Oh my god. Oh my god. What? My world just ended a little bit. Wow, that's actually really exciting. So we'll see if Sunshine can cheese his way back into an even series, or if this cheese fails, then I don't know. But the honest thing is, every single game, Dime has gone for that delayed cannon. So, I don't know. If he goes for Nexus first, then he could be in a lot of trouble.
He's also tended to scout pretty early, though, which means I think...
Oh, yeah, that's true. Does he know it's there? He knows it's there. Ooh.
No, actually... Oh, yeah. He's definitely... Wait, how did he find out about it? Yeah, okay, there's the scout, actually. Sorry. I'm moving into the base. So, yeah, he knows it's coming. He's building the forge right now. And he's going to be planting down a pylon really, really soon in his main mineral line. Soon, so he can build the cannon there and then just sacrifice the forge. No, actually, he's trying to save it. This might be a big mistake.
Yeah, I think that's a huge mistake.
Wall in.
Oh, man. But the thing is, Sunshine, is he going for that probe? No, he's actually just bypassing the probe and is going to go straight for the facilities. Now, if Dime could pull some probes down there to keep everything alive until the cannon finishes, he'll stay alive, but it might just be too late. He does manage to wall off though, and these buildings have plenty of health. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, he does get the block, exactly what you
Oh,
were saying. And ultimately, though, can he end up DPSing this down? I really want to see that probe attacking. Every little bit
oh
of additional
no.
damage helps. It looks like just barely it does fall. And wow, this is gonna be bad news, Bears. I don't think that this Zealot has a prayer of getting out. Look at all the probes coming off the line.
I'm really confused as to why he didn't just pull all of his probes. You gotta realize that your opponent is so far behind from doing a 7 pull. Why wouldn't you just pull your probes to defend and then be okay? All he needed was to block off the Zerglings, have that cannon up and running, not get hurt, take out the rest of the Zerglings, and then he would have been fine. I just don't understand.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it was just a bit of like Energy Dime is just not afraid of things,
I
as
guess.
best I can
I
tell.
don't know.
He just kind of like sees attacks coming and is like, "I'll build a cannon at some point. I'm not even worried about it." And so, like, he tried to salvage the front wall, and he actually did it, which shocked me. I like the general response in that situation is that you build a pylon in your main mineral line, and you build a cannon there as fast as you can, and then you just set your first pylon and your forge, and you say, "You know what? They're really far behind because they did this early attack. I'm kind of far behind because I lost those two early structure, but in general, I'm more ahead because I have more workers."
Yeah.
But he didn't even do that, and
No.
like cost him the game.
Yeah, so we'll see. Sunshine's taking a little bit of a break, and whoever wins this one, that's it, right? Is this the last
Yeah,
game?
this is the last game of today. Thanks everybody so much for staying with us through all of it. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed our casting and enjoyed kind of the birth of the SPGL.
Indeed, it's been a lot of fun, and that this will be on Antigua Shipyard, the easy third base map, but incredibly difficult fourth base. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
We are getting started, and so I kind of have to wonder. Well, actually, no, this is a pretty bad map for it, but there was a part of me that was just thinking of poo, and so I was thinking kind of like, hey man, Sunshine might just go like, you know what? It won me the last game. He'll never think that I'm gonna 6 pull him again. 7 pull, I should say. I don't want to change up his strategy.
Yep,
But spawning on the left-hand side, down towards the bottom-ish part of the map, it is Energy Dime as the green Protoss yet again.
that's right. And at the right side of the map, we do have the yellow Zerg, known as Sunshine, spawning with the colors of the sun. We'll see if he's able to get another cheesy build in, or if he'll just kind of play more standard. Kind of have a feeling he'll do a little more standard type play, as like you were saying, it's a little bit more difficult to do a 6 pull, or a 7 pull rather. And already we see Energy Dime moving out with a probe to scout and see what's going on. Or maybe just drop a pylon, whatever.
He's going to be building the pylon. Yeah, gets that first pylon down just so that he can start to build himself a little bit of a wall. And already we can tell that if it is going to be a spawning pool, it's going to be a 10 pool coming out of Sunshine, a 12 pool coming out of Sunshine. But no,
You'll get it right.
We're not going to be seeing any kind of early pool out of him. I definitely think that you are correct, Mr. Paul. Yeah, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a late game oriented strategy out of him, or at least wait until after he gets his expand. Though this is a map that has some kind of interesting traits to it, in that once you get up in good position on the ramp, particularly with the roaches, the wall doesn't stand that much of a chance unless it's excellent force fields. And so this could potentially be a great map for the kind of Lennox style all in, where he was just like basically knocking out Protosses left and right, where he's like, I guarantee that with a hatchery cancel, if you don't see it, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And like basically that's what happened. If they saw it, they might survive, and if they didn't, there's just 7 roaches with this perfectly executed 7 roach rush in your base, as you have like a photon cannon, maybe a sentry.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in this one. Looks like Energy Time is going to go ahead and continue to deny that expansion from happening. Will Sunshine come up and try to build another one, or will it get denied as well by Energy Time? He's just so good at keeping his opponent from getting the expansion when they want it. He's just a big bully. God, he drops down another pylon. Jesus.
Taking away his lunch money, shoving him into lockers, and blocking expansions.
Yep.
Such a jerk.
Such a jerk. Oh, well. Wow, he actually let that pylon finish there, too. So he's not going to be able to cancel the one at the natural, and he will definitely be forcing Sunshine to try to take the expansion out there. And, yeah. So that's actually interesting. It's going to put him in a little bit more of a vulnerable position, kind of like it did in the game on Ohana, where the third base isn't quite as close to the main base as it would normally be. And we'll see how Energy Dime follows it up. Will he go for that Zealot and that Stalker early on and try to do like a real heavy kill, or a real quick kill rather? Or, yeah, we'll see what happens. Sunshine will be going ahead and getting up third base though here. And, yeah, we'll see.
One thing I love about Dime's play that we've just been consistently seeing is how adaptable he is to what he ends up seeing.
Yeah,
Because when he sent in that kind of initial strike force on Ohana, there wasn't really an opportunity to kill his opponent. And
right.
so he kind of put some pressure on, and then all of a sudden things started floundering a bit, and he realized, like, wow, if I just add on a couple more gateways, I will be able to do even more damage. And then eventually that attack was held off, but he's like, you know what? At this point, I should just all in because I've dealt so much damage. I'm really, really strong at this point. And so he doesn't have like a set build that he's kind of like, I'll do some
Right.
harassment, and when I'm done, I pull away. He
Right.
paid attention to what did his harassment actually do? What's the current game state? And I would really like to see that out of him if he does that same kind of harassment on this map as he currently is, once again, chrono boosting out that Stalker.
Indeed, indeed. So, Energy Dime is making that Stalker. It has it rallied over to his opponent's base, or actually to the middle of the map, but that's pretty close to his opponent's base. Interesting thing is, though, that they are, sorry, the farthest spawns away from each other. So for Zerg, that's going to be a little bit nice. As far as Protoss doing early aggression, it's going to take a while for him to get his units across the map, but it shouldn't be too terrible. Now we do see these Zerglings coming out here, and Energy Dime was able to take out one of them. Will he be able to take out the next one? He does, taking out two. So right there, that is a drone already killed early in this game. And but yeah, Zerg player should be okay. It's not like a huge loss or anything.
Yeah, it has forced 6 more Zerglings, though, which is definitely not what he wants to be making.
It's true.
And this pressure, like, it doesn't really need to kill all that much in order to be worthwhile. This has to force units. He's trying to get in, maybe pick off the Overlord, but no, we'll be able to escape to that nice little high ground. Even denying some creep, too, which is an effect of this I hadn't really been considering, but they do work quite a bit like Hellions, actually,
Yeah.
where they can kind of march around, try to kill off creep tumors as they're constructing, though he doesn't have the opportunity to scan if he ends up missing them like that couple that went down on the right-hand side. But as we can see right now, Overlord going down, these Zerglings will definitely not be able to, well, they shouldn't be able to kill off this Stalker. It should slowly all be wiped out as well.
Yeah, he needs to move that Stalker back and stop microing it for attacks. But I don't know. Oh wow, the Zerglings actually turned around there, so that's kind of interesting. What's really cool though is that we see our Zerg player getting a quick lair. So will he go for mutas or will he go for something crazy? Maybe infestors. Well, we'll kind of have to see what he does. But I do like the fact that he went for the quick 8-minute lair. Will allow him to kind of a little bit dictate what his Protoss opponent is doing.
Well, this does read to me quite a bit like that Stefano 11-minute max style, where you can be max on roaches and stalkers. I'm sorry, roaches and zerglings, I should be saying, very, very quickly. However, there is the attack going on right now. It's totally what was distracting me, as we see right now Dime running away with that stalker, desperately trying to keep it alive. However, brilliant, brilliant surround by Sunshine, making sure that even the slow zerglings will be as effective as possible. However, speaking of as effective as possible,
my.
Zealots getting
That is such a good spot.
setup.
Jeez Louise, that is a great position, and oh my god, all of a sudden our Zerg player is forced to pull all of his drones back. He could, oh my god, he could almost lose this third. If he loses it, that is going to be so huge for our Protoss player, and I think, I don't know, it might go down. It's looking real grim, man. Yeah, it does go down. Oh, what?
I think he doesn't want the. I think he knows he
Okay.
can kill it at any time
Yeah.
and doesn't want all of the to spawn out, the broodlings.
Broodlings, yeah.
Like as soon as those spawn out, it's the end of the attack. And there we can see right there,
Yeah.
he decide to go and pop the pinata, and have to deal with all of those little broodlings.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I like to imagine that there's a broodlord inside of every hatchery, just kind of spawning them.
Yeah. Alright, so that third base did go down. Now let's look at the units lost. Our Zerg player has a loss of about 2,200 resources versus 1,300 for Protoss, so Energy Dime doing a really good job. Managed to even up the base count, and interestingly enough has not decided to expand. I feel like perhaps getting a third right now would be a really smart move. Instead, he's going to go more for an all-in style and really commit to this 2-base attack.
Yeah, you were saying you wanted all ins, and here they come.
Yeah,
They're going to get Blink on the way along with the level 2 weapons. So this is basically a perfectly timed uh, Blink Stalker +2 7 gate. The thing is that he's already sniped off the third base, which just
right.
makes it so much better. That like I just can't believe the things that Dime can do with just 4 gateways. Him getting the 4 gateways early has like just so paid dividends for him. And ultimately, if this force gets chopped in half, it's going to be a
Ooh.
huge problem for Sunshine.
Yeah, Energy Dime not even really microing too hard right there. Is able to kill so many roaches and zerglings. There's like no zerglings left and only about 5 roaches versus so many stalkers. This is a very scary position. And wow, look here, the Protoss has the high ground, but doesn't even care. Just blinks forward to deal with these units. Doesn't even worry about the third. All he wants to do is take out the army of the Zerg player before it can get replenished. And here come all the drones, the roaches, and no zerglings left to deal with these stalkers. Oh my god, Sunshine is in a terrible position here.
Yeah, I think that Energy Dime smells blood, and he is going for it, and honestly, justifiably so. Right now, it's 42 army supply against just 30, and when your units are Protoss units, you always tend to be in the supply deficit. But even there, see the GG.
Yep, and that is the end of the tournament for today, guys. Looks like Dime got the victory. What an
He
awesome
did
job.
indeed. Though Sunshine is still going to the national final, so absolutely uh, like fantastic outcome. Both these guys who we've been seeing have such incredible success. Really going to be able to see even more of them on August 18th, where they're going to be competing for $1,000.